Hey, my friends, welcome back to the UNCOMMODiFiED podcast. I'm Tim Windsor, and once again, I'm going to be your ferryman over the River Styx as we continue our series of podcasts about my unending, about your unending, about the lasting legacy of the UNCOMMODiFiED. Because when it's all said but never really done, the question is, what unique mark will you leave? Now, this series is starting to strike a chord and maybe even a nerve with some of my listeners around the globe, or maybe some of them in the grave. So, you know what? Tonight I'm going to do something different. I don't normally do this by myself, but I'm going to start off this episode with a scotch by myself. I'm going to drink a beautiful scotch called Bal Blair. It's a 12-year-old Highland single malt scotch whiskey. And I'm going to pour myself a glass and I'm going to enjoy this as we chat tonight. Cheers to my listeners. Thank you very much for listening to the UNCOMMODiFiED podcast. Oh, that's a very nice scotch. Excellent. So as I was saying, this series is starting to strike a chord with my listeners. And there was a social media post from one of my listeners in New Jersey the other day. And I'd just like to share it with you because it was really, really powerful. Here's what he said. Just finished listening to an episode of the UNCOMMODiFiED podcast about unenders. Unenders are mentors that leave a legacy and impressions that will last forever in someone's life, even after they're gone. I think he's getting my message. I wanted to share this picture, he said, and this podcast because it hit so close to home. Now, in the post that he shared a picture of an old briefcase, and here's what he wrote. This bag still carries power for me today. I still carry this bag today. It is from my mentor, who is long gone. It reminds me of him constantly and recenters me every time I walk into a sales call. I even catch myself walking and acting like him while I hold it. The truth is that there is truth in the saying that tells us that it's not what you know, but who you know. I met a man that taught me, pushed me, and truly wanted me to do well. When I thanked him for making me who I am, he gave me all the credit. He told me I did the work. The truth is, there's part of him that I carry with me today. And when I meet other salespeople he mentored at business functions, we can spend hours talking about him. Even though we may be competitors now, we will still consider ourselves brothers because we had the same mentor. I still have a lot of work to do to be the man I want to be, but I still have time to be an unender. It would be a privilege to take what I've learned and share it while motivating the next generation. And this is what this episode series is all about. This series is all about. I love it. Please keep sending your notes in. It tells me that this idea is starting to resonate with people. Excellent, excellent post. Thank you very much for sharing it. Now, this is the 7th episode in that 14th part series. Today, we're going to explore another one of the 13 characteristics, the actions, the passions of those who are unending legacy leavers, the UNCOMMODiFiED, the unenders who, even though many of them are gone now, they are still alive with me and many, many others. Now, they were unenders because they were diggers. And I'll explain what I mean by this. I've been playing with this idea for a while. They were unenders because they were diggers. And if you and I can become diggers now, diggers who unearth, uncover, and help people discover the shit and the silver, the poop and the platinum under the surface of their lives, we can and will become unending legacy leavers, unenders in the lives of many people that we encounter in this life. Diggers. Diggers. This is what this little episode is about. And before I get into it, let me have another drink. Oh man, that's a good scotch. Diggers. Diggers who unearth, uncover, and help people discover the shit and the silver and the poop and the platinum under the surface of their lives. Now, that's one of the things that diggers do, and we'll talk a little bit about that more. But diggers do a whole lot of other things for you and for I as we encounter them in this life and then beyond. And if we can become diggers now like they are to other people and they have been to me, we can be legacy leavers. Now, what do diggers do? Diggers dig deep wells. Diggers uncover things. Diggers are archaeologists and geologists. Now, an archaeologist deals with the study of materials such as tools or pottery or jewelry or stone walls or monuments from the past lives of humans and past human activity. And Diggers, unending diggers, are archaeologists in that they uncover things, old things in our lives, and they help us rediscover and reconnect to them in new ways. That's a gift that the digger brings with them along the way. They help us to connect with old things that we find under the surface of our lives, and they help us to understand our histories and what it means to us and how to connect with that. That's one of the things they do. Secondly, these diggers, they're geologists. They deal, and a geologist deals with the history of the earth and its life, especially as recorded in rocks. And there's something powerful that a digger can do as they examine the rock foundations in our lives, the foundation, the bedrock in our lives, the places that we come from, the things that we've explored over the years. They have an amazing way of helping us dig down all the way back down to bedrock, to the bedrock of values in our lives and philosophies that have carried us forward. And what diggers do when they come alongside you is they help you understand and get back to those things, because sometimes over life we forget them. We sort of become unmoored a little bit, or our life sort of shifts off of our foundations. And a digger comes along and is able to remind us of the power of that history and the potential that still lies in being founded on bedrock, certain bedrock in our lives. Unenders are also diggers who actually drive excavators and earth movers. That's the other thing they do. And so they bring in big machinery sometimes into our lives, and they'll help you move heaven and earth and molehills and mountains for you and with you. And they're at home with a shovel and a pickaxe, and they'll dig into it, and they'll help you dig through it. They'll bring in the heavy machinery. My friend and I, Craig, who we do podcasting together, Craig and I and our wives, we visited Oak Island a number of years ago, and I don't know if you know much about the history of Oak Island or the television series on History Channel now, but man, they bring in this big machinery and they're looking for treasure. I don't know if they're ever going to find any treasure, but man, they bring in some impressive machinery. Diggers will do that too. They'll bring in some impressive machinery into your life, and they'll help you dig into it and dig through it and get back down to bedrock. And we'll talk a little bit in a little while about how do they do that? What tools do they use? What are the tools of their trade? And we'll talk about that. But let's just tuck into another couple of things that diggers do. So here's a question. Diggers, of course, they just dig. But what and why is the question. What do they dig and why? Now, here's what I've noticed about these people in my life over the years, and I've had the privilege, I think, to be a digger for some other people, and I believe it will leave a legacy, because what diggers do is they help you dig down and, again, make that new foundation or repair an old one. They help you go back to those foundational places of our life, and sometimes what it is revisiting them and repairing them because they've got cracks in them. Those foundations, the foundational values or the ideas that we started with that maybe we've lost along the way, they help shore up that foundation for us and remind us and maybe put a little bit of concrete on that crack and help us restore that foundation. They understand that if we're going to go high, we need to dig deep, and that the foundation matters. If we don't put our lives continually back on a good foundation, things will get creaky and crumbly over time. And diggers remind us of that, of the things that have been foundational to us and to them, and that have caused stability to come into our lives. And they will remind you of that as they dig back down to that. Diggers also dig to unearth hidden treasures. They have this powerful propensity to help you dig down and find those hidden treasures in your life, things that you've lost along the way or things you haven't understood as treasures. They'll help you discover skills and talents that you didn't realize that you had, because they're going to ask you to go back and examine things and look at things more carefully, like that geologist does when they look at those stones, those precious stones. They also dig under things with you, and they encourage you to do the same. They'll turn over a rock and help you dig under it and explore ideas and ideologies in ways that maybe you haven't in the past. And that will become powerful, and it will leave a mark on you. And you'll remember it, because they won't just dig for you. They'll dig with you, and they'll teach you how to dig and to uncover things and turn a few stones over and find some things that maybe you hadn't discovered in your life. They dig deep, and they help you find the real you in the process. To get below the surface the surface of our lives, the surface of our things, the surface of our possessions, the surface of our titles, the surface of the things that we do, and they'll dig down and help us find the real people that are underneath that. That's one of the gifts that the digger brings to us, is that they dig over the surface stuff and they get back down to things that are more important. They also they dig to the roots, and they dig to the root of it. They dig to the root cause of it. They're not going to let you live on the surface. They're not going to let you be a surface level liver. They're going to get you to dig down to the root cause of problems and opportunities, the root cause of things that you're struggling with in your life. They don't just want to allow you to be a surfacey kind of person. They're going to dig down to that root cause, and they're going to challenge you to do it. And you're going to remember that, and you're going to remember them because of it. Because of encountering them, they're going to take you to the root cause, not just to a symptom, but to a real problem, the root cause of a problem, and they're going to help you get to the bottom of it. Whether that happens in your personal life or your professional life, those diggers are going to leave a lasting mark and impression on you. Hey, and as I said before, man, they're sort of like they dig for truffles. They're like pigs digging for truffles in the shit of your life. And they'll dig your shit and your silver and your poop and your platinum, and you'll help you to find gold in the midst of the crap of your life. That is a powerful gift that the digger brings, is that they help you dig through stuff that isn't easy, that's difficult. Maybe it's stuff that you haven't dealt with from your past. Maybe it's areas of your life that you're not willing to explore, but diggers are going to cause you to go in and explore it for sure. They dig into problems, as I said. They are well diggers. They are well diggers, and they will help you find sources of refreshment and bring it to the surface, just like a well driller does, drilling a well down, into the aquifer and bringing that water up so that people can be refreshed and replenished by it. Diggers will help you find refreshment when you are weary. That is a powerful gift of a digger, and you will remember it. You'll remember it for years. You'll remember it for eternity. Because when you're dry and parched and you can't figure out what's going on and you're trying to find your way and you're exhausted in life emotionally and physically and mentally and maybe even spiritually, a digger will come and help you dig down to those refreshing sources of rejuvenation in your life, whatever that might be for you. There is an old Ukrainian proverb that says this: with patience, it is possible to dig a well with a teaspoon. See, sometimes they use earth movers and excavators, but sometimes a teaspoon is enough, because with enough patience and persistence, you can dig a well with a teaspoon. And as a Chinese proverb also says, dig the well before you get thirsty. What a powerful idea. And diggers will do that. They're not going to just let you get thirsty and then go find water. They're going to say, hey, guys, we're always going to be thirsty. Let's dig down to the source of something really powerful in our life, some inspiration, something that will motivate us, whatever it might be. It might be a great book. It might be a great movie. It might be a great historical idea. Whatever it is, are going to help you find refreshment in your life by digging down. But how do they do it? How do they do it? How do diggers do it? And what are their primary tools of their trade? Now, before we get into that, I think it's time for another scotch. Mm, that's a good drink. I think maybe another one. Ah, very good. Excellent. So, what are the primary tools of the trade for a digger? Their tongues, their lips, and their ability to be comfortable in the quest and in the question and in the process. Comfortable in your self-discovery journey that the digger could take you on. Their primary tool that they dig and that they push deep with is a question. And another question, and another question, and yet another question. Diggers don't have all the answers for you. They help you unearth the answers through provocative, clever, powerful questions. Primary tool of a digger. They don't dig with answers. They don't provide answers for you to dig with. They ask questions and they dig with you. Those questions dig through, dig under, and get to the root of things. Get to that refreshing place for the people who are privileged enough to meet them and encounter them. Diggers use questions to create the conversation that they know that you and I need to have with ourselves and with others. And diggers teach others to use the tool of their trade to use those questions, and they show you how to ask better questions with them at first. They help you, they let you dig with them, and then eventually without them. And they won't let you leave it on the surface. They won't let you live, as I said earlier, on the surface level. They're going to want you to go deep, and they want you to be big. So here's my unending challenge for you this week. Go out this week and be a digger. Be a digger. Use your tongue, use your lips, use your creative questions, and encourage everyone around you to dig down and make new foundations or repair an old one, to dig deep, to go high, to dig to unearth hidden treasures in their life, to dig into and under things, to dig deep so they can find their true self, to dig to the root and to the root of it and to the root cause of issues and problems in their lives, to dig truffles in the shit of people's lives, to dig in their shit to find silver and their poop to find platinum, to dig into problems and to dig new wells that help people find the source of refreshment and bring it back to the surface of their life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, dig deep within yourself and there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you just keep digging. Be a digger for yourself and dig for others. They are unenders. These unenders, they are unenders because they were diggers. And if you and I can become diggers now who unearth and uncover and help people discover the shit and the silver and the poop and the platinum under the surface of their lives, we can and we will become unending legacy leavers, unenders in the lives of many people we encounter in this life. Thanks for listening, and never forget, you're not getting out of here alive, neither am I, but our reputation and our impact will outlive and outlast us. Have an excellent day.